This is Resolutions, and in these episodes, I talk about supernatural and paranormal topics in which I have researched and experienced over time. These topics are up for discussion and debate. The title of this episode is The Existence of Ghosts and the Dilemma of Crossing Over. The existence of ghosts. Ghosts and apparitions are a manifestation of the energy or soul of a dead person or animal that has appeared before the living. The appearance of ghosts and apparitions varies, but the consensus and prevailing thought is an invisible presence or translucent lifelike shape. People that are capable of communicating with ghosts and the dead are classified and known as necromancers. The overarching thought among most cultures is that there exists an afterlife. And the dilemma that is posed is, why do ghosts exist? Most cultures practice some type of ritualistic ancestor worship in which the living pays homage and respects to the dead. During memorialized services, we request favors and guidance of the dead because we feel that they have a better outlook on our future. The laws of thermodynamics are the most legitimate proof that ghosts and spirits exist because it states that energy cannot be created or destroyed. The dilemma of crossing over. East Asians believe that most ghosts can only see, smell, and hear, while anything beyond these capacities requires a separate analysis of a spirit or ghost. Some ghosts are incapable of crossing over and require assistance. Ghosts can feed off of the energy and induce sickness on the living with hopes of being able to control a person once they die. Some ghosts are motivated by continuing their deviant behavior in which they are using the living as a vehicle to continue licentious actions. Sudden death can cause a traumatic and highly confused state of ghostly existence, in which a ghost does not know she is dead. Rage facilitates in remaining earthbound because of being forced to die a sudden and unexpected death. The integrity of a person's life is judged and all fair justice is executed, in which crossing over exposes you to an eternity of damnation or salvation. The emotional attachment to the living becomes insurmountable, in which a ghost cannot cross over. Guilt can be a factor of staying earthbound, in which a ghost may feel compelled to reconcile and make amends with the living. Ghosts believe that unfinished business cannot be completed without him or her. A refusal to acknowledge that he or she is dead is oftentimes people who have become ghosts. Grieving families trap the spirit of a loved one, and therefore the dead are stuck in a ghostly state. Wanting to stay earthbound and trying to maintain your existence on this physical plane can make it very difficult to cross over. Communicating with ghosts and apparitions. Begin by finding an exceptionally gifted and reliable psychic and or medium in which she is able to convince you to become a believer from your skepticism. My personal experiences of seeing ghosts usually occur during the nighttime hours. Activity is heightened around the times of 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Use your senses of hearing, seeing, smelling, and feeling when entering into a location that you might feel instinctively drawn by a supernatural or paranormal force. Listen with the mind's eye and disassociate yourself from the physical world and your physical being. Tune into the vibrations within your environment because ghosts no longer have the physical capacity of formulating words with a mouth to speak. Similar to the vibrational frequencies of our spoken languages, ghosts and spirits and other entities have a vibrational frequency. This could include ringing in the ear or a shock of pain to any part of your body. Look through the air because the air is filled with energy. Everything is filled with an energy. If you look at the air, you can see static and shapes of energy. Without a physical body, you can alter your energy any way that you want. Signs that the dead are trying to communicate with you. For instance, pictures of the deceased person keeps reappearing to you. Reoccurring memories of the deceased individual plague your head. Coincidences involving a deceased individual in which you're passing by their grave or seeing other cues that are related to that deceased individual. Communication devices, Ouija boards, and divination tools. There is a list of purported devices that claim to detect ghosts and spirits, but my reliable app is Ghost Radar. To me, that is a modern-day form of an electronic Ouija board. Ouija boards should always have a psychic facilitating the seance session because Ouija boards are like a payphone on a street block in New York City during the 1970s. Everyone and their dog is trying to get through on that Ouija board. Refer to my previous videos on divination and their various methodologies if you're curious about other forms of divination. Death state, trance, and channeling. This is usually reserved for experienced psychic mediums, necromancers, and it involves going under or going into a death state or trance in which the medium becomes disassociated from the physical plane and enters into the supernatural. This usually requires some type of trauma or near-death experience that amplifies the senses and psychic capabilities. Breathing is altered, thought processes become subconscious, and time and space becomes obsolete and non-existent. Time and space are just concepts of the human understanding of the progression of life. Because the supernatural and paranormal defy these concepts, and they do not live according to the rules and understandings of this life, physical lives. So, if we were to look at time and space and how it affects us physically, ghosts and apparitions are not affected by those same principles. Ghosts are not bound by a physical body and space because they haunt and exist through energy and vibrations that are relived and repeated like memories. If you like my videos and you want to see more, hit like and subscribe. You can find me at Facebook and Instagram at JYK113077. You can also find me at Twitter at James Young Kirby. Thank you for watching.